The house is so quiet now. Too quiet, honestly. Like there's no slamming doors, there's no half eaten snacks on the counter, there's no piles of tennis shoes in the front door. There's no one yelling, "Mom, where's my jersey? And where's my this or that or the other?" It's just silence. Now, while the house might be empty, your soul does not have to be empty. If you are a Gen X mom, sitting in the quiet, wondering what's next, what now, this is your sign not to clean another closet, not to sit around and wait for grandbabies, and certainly not to fade. No, this is actually your time, your permission slip to stop living through everyone else's dreams and finally start living your dreams. And I'm wondering, how does that feel when you hear that? How does it resonate with you to chase your dreams, to make time for you, your wants, your desires? Now, for many of you, it might sound a little scary. It might sound a little nerve wracking, but don't worry. I gotcha. Hey, y'all, I'm Mick, and I empower women to reimagine the possibilities, to remind you that you are meant to BADE, to be anything and do everything that you desire. Now, let's talk about empty nesting. This is such a wild ride for women. It is something that we aren't prepared for, even though we have been preparing our children to fly the nest. When it actually hits home, man, does it hit our heart. It hurts so much. Yet it's a weird cocktail of excitement, but also like grief. And what happens is that we get all this whole brain, our whole being has been so occupied with their lives. We all of a sudden have all this free time and we're like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do with all of this? Because consider it, our children, the kiddos, their lives, it consumes so much of our life, as it should. Obviously, we're parents, but when they're not around anymore and when the house gets empty and quiet, it's a really tough transition for us. I was just talking to my girlfriend now. She's right now going through the stage of where her youngest is a senior. So she's doing all the last senior things, right? The prom, the pictures, the parties, celebrations, all those things that happen at the end of the year. The acceptance letters are coming in and the kiddos are making decisions, and you're really feeling for the first time, OMG, like it's really happening. They are going to be flying the nest. It is so hard to swallow. So today I'm dedicating this to all the mamas out there going through all the feels, feeling it all. I'm here to tell you that I gotcha. I know what you're about to go through. I've been through it myself. And yes, it's about to get really, really quiet, but I don't want you to get scared. I'm going to prepare you for this. So here's what you can expect. In any given moment, one moment, you will be looking at a photo and bawling your eyes out. You'll be seeing a photo of your baby or a prom photo, or you'll be looking at the graduation, the cap and gown, and you are just going to be like, oh my God, like a flood of, the gate is going to open with just tears, like the ugly tears, like what happened? How did this happen so fast? On the other hand, you are going to have these moments like, yes, my kid got into that university they've been dreaming about, or, finally you can see that they've outgrown high school. So they really are ready for the next step. So there's this pride because they are in the process of growing. Like I always say about my boys, they're almost grown. They're not quite there, but watching them transition is such a cool experience. They no longer are babies, even though in hearts, of course, there'll always be babies. But there's this pride that comes with seeing these young adults starting to live out their dreams. So along with cheers and then pride, and then you'll start getting nervous. Like, what am I going to do with all this time? I remember Googling things like maybe I should take some salsa dancing classes, and like Googling all these crazy things at 2 a.m. because I was just keeping me up night. And that was just the anxiety, the nerves of the unknown that was so scary to me. But what I'm really suggesting that you do here at this point is to slow down, is to just take it all in, take a deep breath and stop for a minute. Because what's happening here is you're trying to take the busy life that you have now and fill the pipeline with more busyness instead of just slowing down, stopping, and checking in with the self. Because what's happening for a lot of women at this stage is that they're looking at themselves in the mirror and they don't freaking remember who they are outside of the roles of mom, caregiver, and so forth. So the idea of not having that someone needing you 24/7 becomes very daunting. So instead of trying to stop with that, you're like, okay, let me figure out how to stay busy and get more busy. But that is not the answer. That is just a band-aid. So I'm really asking you at this point to stop, pause, reflect, and redirect. And what I really, really want you to do is to just feel it all. Like seriously, sit with all the feels because this is a really, really precious time. So just enjoy that the in between and just understand that it's just a transition. This, all these feelings you're feeling means you're growing and so are your kiddos. So it's a very exciting time. It is one of the most exciting transitions as a mother. I want you to be in the feels and not let this moment pass you by. And after you sit there with your feels, I invite you to lean into that girl. Do you know that girl that's inside of you? The one you put on hold or deferred dreams for and did whatever the choices you made? Let me tell you about that girl inside of you. She is still there. She's still there. And she is literally just waiting for the green light from you, for this exact moment to come out and have her moment to shine bright. And if you have forgotten, I'm here to remind you that we are Gen X women. We are built strong. I mean, we were built on cassette tapes and dial up phones. And honestly, we survived with like zero parenting for the most part. Like they weren't around to hone in on our every move. And here we are, right? So I'm telling you, you have the grit and you are made for this stage in your life. Actually, I can't think of a better generation who is made to thrive in this transition because as women, we are resilient, we are resourceful, and we are ready. You are ready for this moment. This is not the end, not even close. This is just the beginning of a brand new chapter for you. And although you might feel like you're a little lost, like you're a little bit, where do I belong in all of this? Let me tell you, you aren't lost at all. Think of it this way, like you have taken the scenic route, you have been busy doing other things, and now you're back with better boundaries, bolder, and so much wisdom, so much life experience that you are so fully prepared to do whatever it is that you're going to do next. This is your most glow up moment ever. So, where do you begin? What's next? What's the next step? Well, what I recommend is that before you get too far off doing things and overcommitting to other projects, I want you to slow down and really hone in on what sparks your joy, your happiness. And by the way, most importantly, where do you have fun? Where are you lit up and just show up differently and take up more space? Because if you start there, if that becomes your new foundation, joy and fun, things will just open up so beautifully for you. Start by reigniting the old passions. Like, do you remember maybe painting in the garage or dancing in the kitchen or that novel that you started that you've been putting off? Like, get back to those simple things. This is what I'm saying is like, just take a big pause and start with the very simple things that truly bring you joy. Aside from your kiddos, obviously, the point is to reignite and reconnect with yourself. Your inner compass wants you to get back to all those things that you are been putting off. After you reconnect with those simple pleasures, then I want you to have a little fun and do something wild. If the resources allow, go do something crazy, like something so wildly out of your character. Take that solo trip to Paris, sign up for that stand up comedy class or that acting class that you've always been curious about, or a writer's workshop. Explore something completely different because this is the time for you to expand and try new things. Another great way to do this, if you don't have the resources to just hop on a plane to Paris, then you know what? Get out there in the community, join a women's group and meet other women. Like expand your circle of friends. You'll be so surprised by simply expanding your circle, putting yourself out there with other women, how things just open up because they have different experiences. New friendships always lead to new possibilities and new opportunities and new environments, which is always fantastic. Now, I'm going to warn you because at some point while you're playing and having fun, a lot of guilt is going to set in because that we are so good at that, right? The minute we just relax, the shoulds will pile on as they always do. That gremlin never goes away. I should be doing something more responsible. I should clean the house. I should whatever. No, 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 no. Stop. You have been responsible all these years, okay? You have stepped up. You did your thing. You've been amazing. Cut yourself grace to just have a minute for yourself to figure out who you are again. You have earned this moment. And by the way, you owe it not only to yourself, but you owe it to your spouse, your partner, whoever you're with, your kids, to evolve. Just like your kids are out there growing and growing new branches, you cannot stop growing. You also owe it to them to keep evolving and to stay interesting. Now, let me tell you about a girl I used to know. She was in her late 40s. Her youngest was off to college, and she had a massive breakdown. She didn't know what was happening, what she was supposed to do. Her whole life revolved around the kids, their needs, their wants. And she did it beautifully. So when it was time to her figure out what she needed, she struggled. So she cried a lot. Then one day, that girl cried right into her journal. And through words, she remembered who she was. She found herself again. And now this girl is speaking. She's doing workshops. She's writing. She's doing all sorts of crazy, fun things. And guess what? This girl is me. I'm telling you about my life, what I went through. So I know what this feels like. I've been through it myself. Now, writing and journaling might not be your avenue, but I promise you, you absolutely have something inside of you that's going to light you up. I want you to spend time discovering that. It's there. It just requires you spending some time and focus and allowing yourself to feel it. So yes, I see you. I see that you have made choices for them. I see that it's hard to take that time to figure out who you are. I see how the struggle is real. I see how this transition feels very sad and very overwhelming. And I see the sadness too that comes with it. And I see how hard it is to imagine life without them, without the consuming all of who they are, because they are an extension of us, right? They are our children, of course. So it's not this something we can just cut off the cord. It is a process. And for me, the hardest part was realizing that went so fast. Like the days felt so slow when they were littles, but man, the years went so fast, and all of a sudden they're just out there independent, not needing me. That was a real struggle. And what would I do for another butterfly kiss or another like squish to my face with their little sticky, sugary lips? All those feels, it goes so fast. So I get it. I understand it. But here is what I can promise you. On the other side, oh my gosh, on the other side, I promise you, there's this woman and she is ready to step up, shoulders back, head up high, ready to be anything and do everything with so much confidence and so much wisdom. This is you. This is your moment. So lean in, trust the process. Lean into your wants, your desires, move towards your joy. It's no secret that I talk so much about joy. My first website was called To Get Her Joy. It was my blog, but that was the journey that I was going through. And this is the journey that so many women have to go through on their own, is you have to go out there and get your joy. So go get your joy on. That is the only direction that you need to focus on. That is the only direction that matters right now, is that you move towards your joy. And here's how I suggest you begin. First, you take 15 minutes a day. That's it. I know you've got 15 minutes a day. Okay, this is when you get quiet. This is when you get still. Perhaps you learn to meditate. Perhaps you go for a walk with no phone, not even music, just with your thoughts. 15 minutes to be with yourself and start asking yourself some questions. This time is meant to be intentional and all yours. For you, do not judge the conversations you have with yourself. This is about you dreaming big. And then I want you to take a piece of paper and just write some of those dreams that have been popping up. Just write them down. No judgment. You don't get to say why they're a good reason or why they're not a good reason. That's not the point of the exercise. It's for you to just start putting that out in the universe, writing it down, seeing what that feels like. Start playing around with the idea of it. What if? What if? And the third thing I want you to do is to connect with a buddy, like a new bestie in this time of your life. This is so critical. You have to find someone you can lean on who believes in you, who believes in your journey and is there to support you and is there to encourage you. Because again, remember that gremlin in your head? That's always going to pop in, telling you all the reasons why you shouldn't. So you really need a friend. Maybe it's your spouse. If you're lucky enough, like I am, it's your spouse who's that for you, or a sister or your best friend, but someone who's going to just cheer you on and say, yes, yes, you can. And by the way, if you can't find anyone, I gotcha. Reach out to me. I'll be your girl. I'll be your wingman. The point is, we're not meant to do this alone. Actually, we're not meant to do any of this life thing alone. We've got to reach out and lean on people. So remember, this transition, this empty nester, is not the end of your story. No, no, no. This is life handing you a pen saying, okay, it's time to write your next chapter. And you get to fill the pages. Nobody else. You've played 1,000 roles in other people's lives, in other people's scripts. Now it's time to write your own. And let me tell you, this is a bestseller waiting to happen because you get to write it. You get to write your happily ever after. You get to decide. You get to decide to be anything and do everything that you desire. Now, if you're excited for your next chapter, drop a comment. Tell me, what is it that you're going to do next? I'm here for it. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear all about your journey. And of course, always share this with a friend or a mom who's also navigating through this empty nesting because, again, we're not supposed to do it alone. We've got each other. Listen, the nest may be empty, but your wings, they've been waiting for this moment. You get to fly. Until next time, remember, BADE, be anything and do everything you desire.